Hey, welcome back to Cure for the Common Game. Today we're going to talk about Gobots. No, not Transformers. Transformers are werewolves and they flip and they do all kinds of stuff, and it's really annoying for triple sleeve guys like me. We're going to talk about Gobots. Karn. Karn is my man. He was one of my favorite characters from the Weatherlight saga. By the way, we'll get to this deck eventually. But the Weatherlight saga, in my opinion, the hero is Karn. As a matter of fact, I believe out of the crew, he's the only one that made it out. Not only did he make it out, he ascended to being a planeswalker. That kind of happens when you're sitting inside a nuke with a planeswalker's head in your chest. Anyway, different story. What I wanted to do with Karn is tribal golems, hence Gobots. I love tribal golems. I love me some tribes, and I love the artifact solid. Now, just for the record here, if you'll notice, this is not Mimnarch or this is not Bosch. This is Karn. There are no colored mana symbols allowed in the deck. Thank you for the waste. By the way, I had this deck built long before, and the mana base was really expensive because you had all the non-basic lands. Oh my gosh, it was so horrible. But the waste does give us some access to some cheap basic lands. Love it. I don't have to have a $40,000 worth of mana base. But anyway, we're going to talk about Karn. I guess first, here's the one and only instant in the deck. That's it. To be honest with you, I might take it out, I might not. It just depends on what the new stuff comes out. I try to constantly update my decks, but I've got so many that would be all I would do. But since we are mono artifact, Blink Moth Urn, really good. This is just going to equate to just tons of free mana every turn. It's going to give your opponents a little bit, yeah, and somebody maybe get more benefit than others, but you are going to abuse this card. Oh my gosh. And we know that's what it's all about. Now, mana, I can't talk about one of these without talking about all three of them. Mindstone Hedron Archive and Dreamstone Hedron are essentially the same card. I'm curious if we go back there again, if we get a 8-drop. Probably not. I don't know if, I would play it. But they all do the same thing. It's 2, 4, 6 mana. Version of the same thing. That one taps for 1. You can sack it to draw 1. Taps for 2. Sack it to draw 2, 3. These are really good early game, especially in this deck when you don't have a whole lot of card draw. There comes a point where you just don't need the mana, and it's a good source of card draw for you. Now, we can't talk about golems without the actual golems, so let's get to them first. We'll do the Myxanth Golem here. I love this guy. I rocked him in Standard. It was a turn 4, throw up your hand. I mean it. It was great. It still is. Love this guy. He has affinity for artifacts. And he says all your artifact creatures have affinity for artifacts. It's a good thing that mechanic's not broken in an all artifact deck. Hey, guess who else is an artifact? Platinum Empyrean. Your life total can't changing? That seems pretty good. I like staying at 40. I like not blocking. I like still being at 40. But anyway, this is really, really good. If y'all have noticed here lately, this Joker spiked a little bit. I don't get that, but I don't know. Maybe, I guess the rest of the world's figuring out he's a good card. Guess who else is a golem? Darksteel Colossus, the ultimate weapon. I'm glad we have this to fight against the Phyrexians. Oh, crap. Dang it. He's a golem too. One hit kills. Come on, rules committee. Come on. This should not be a one-turn kill. Granted, it's not quick. Well, in this deck, it conceivably could be. So tell you what. let's see how quick we can play the Blightsteel Golem. Rules Committee, we need infect damage to be as intended. When R&D come up with or when Richard come up with poison, he come up with poison, and then through the years R&D has refined it, and they have stayed the course. It has always been half-life. One poison counter is effectively worth 2 life. We've seen that all through the game. So why is it still 10 poison counter for a 40 life EDH game? It needs to be 20. Most play groups that I know of already do this, and I know it's but make this official, because you've always got that, there's 6 or 7 of you at your local LGS, and you're all, you've got the one guy from out of town who's there visiting family or work or whatever, and he whips out his Blightsteel Colossus, and he just starts one-shotting people. Come on. One hit from this guy, I don't think he's worthy of banning, but I think he's too good not to play. Anyway. Rest of the golems. A lot of these are just pure chaff. We're looking for... when I build tribes, let me explain this first off. There are a lot of cards that would be really good in this deck, but I hadn't put them in because they ain't golems. When I build a tribal deck, all creatures in the deck must be from that tribe. That's just my personal rule. I know Steel Overseer would be awesome in here, but he's a construct. And I haven't built constructs yet. There's a lot of good constructs. Coming soon, constructs. But we got the Junk Troller. He just, a lot of these. Now, Precursor Golem, talk about double-edged sword. Oh, gosh. I like him because of the flavor. This is a very, very flavor deck. This is probably the deck where after you've played Sharoom or Zeus or something and you just wipe the table, this is the next deck you play. It's fun. You're not going to combo out. You're not going to, kill the table. But it's super fun. Gobots. Some of you guys aren't old enough to remember that. Beast of Burden. This golem can get pretty big. Power and toughness equals the number of dudes on the field. Man, I like me some Beast of Burden. Phyrexian Colossus. Phyrexian Colossus is pretty good. He doesn't untap. You got to pay 8 life to untap him. Hello, Voltaic Key. We're not going to do all that jazz. Here again, the other Colossus. That's why we've got the Voltaic Key and things. Sad Robot's a golem. Huh? What? Yeah. I love me some Sad Robot. It does make me sad that the original art got lost, though. It was an invitational card, and I love the invitational cards. I love they used to do it. It makes me sad they don't do it anymore. But I think it did become something it didn't start off as. I remember reading about it in the Duelist and stuff. It's beautiful. Voltaic Construct Golem, and he untaps other artifacts or artifact creatures. It's pretty cool. And I want to give my Blightsteel flying. It's cool. Lodestone Golem. Oh, our pick for the guy that's going to die before you ever get another turn. A lot of people don't like you making their stuff cost more. Go figure. But he doesn't hurt you. And he is a 4-mana 5/3. That's Juggernaut stats. Mirror Golem. Chromataton. Or don't get me. I'm from Tennessee. Don't get me to start trying to play this stuff. Phyrexian Hulk. Phyrexian Hulk's been around forever. The Brass Golem here. Brass Golem is kind of card draw, if you will, if you get enough golems there. Man, thank you, Theros. I love me some 2020s. Of course, golems don't have a lot of them, so they're either tiny or they're big. The glass golem. We're needing bodies here, people. Darksteel Sentinel. The Willforge Golem. Clay statue. It regenerates. It's a 3/1. My guy. Guardians and Dakota Pod. Now, of course, we have artifact mana. You got to have the artifact mana. In the right hand, that guy with the golem, the Microsoft golem, and him, it's, come on, too good. No one-shots. Hashtag no one-shot. I hate the hashtag thing. Anyway, since we are focusing on golems, let's look at stuff that makes golems. Pretty good. Cast an artifact, get a counter every third artifact, you pretty much get a 3/3 golem. Seems decent. Only thing better than 3/3 golems are 9/9 golems. I love me some 9/9 golems. And of course, since we, are playing with charge counters, gotta have the Contagion engine. This is another one that's gone crazy lately. I don't get it. It's good. It's always been good with walkers, and I don't understand why, like, almost every green-white deck, all that counter 1/1 saprolings. Oh my gosh. Saps love this. It should be called Fungus Engine. Mirror works, obviously, because we're playing artifacts, and what's better than buy one, get one for two? Obelisk of Erd, because let's face it, our tribe needs help. We don't have a whole lot of colorless pump. +2, pretty good. Conversion Chamber also makes the 3/3 golems. Rusted Relic, the artifact that becomes a golem when you have Metalcraft, which should happen on about turn, I don't know, always. Golem's Heart, yeah, you know that this one's just in there for flavor because, it's a Golem's Heart. And we're talking about golems. I want to go back now. I want to go back to the most broken set of all time. Let's go to Saga. Urza Saga. Now, actually, this was a card. This was a card played in Standard at the time. It went all the way up to, I think, World Champs that year. Was it Mark Lapine versus... I don't remember who it was. Anyway. Love Temporal Aperture. Great card. Spend some mana, tap it, shuffle your deck. I like the fact that they added the shuffle so that we couldn't abuse things with tutors and, whatever. But you spend the mana, tap it, shuffle your deck, flip up the top card, play it for the free. Win big, lose big. Either way, you're getting a card. The important part is, does it actually say non-land? No. You play it for that card remains on top of your library. You may pay that card as though it were in your hand without paying its mana cost. The important part, in order to get full value out of this, that I think a lot of people miss, is they play their land before they activate it. Now, you have more copies of land in your deck than anything else, so there's a good chance you're going to flip up a land, I don't know, a third of the time? What, 40% of the time? I guess in EDH, 36, 37. Anyway, a good chunk of the time. And it's a feel-bad moment when you have played a land and you aperture and you flip up a land and you're like, dang. Swing and a miss. Let's see what else we got here. We got the O-Stone, because let's face it, O-Stone and Nev Disc. I don't even think I have Nev Disc in here, but O-Stone's about as good as it gets. You can save your stuff. You can untap it with your untappy stuff. It's really good. Ugin's Nexus, because we don't... Mashroom's got to get out of here. Library of Ling. Like the Library of Ling. I think it's one of the best no-max hand size cards. Of course, we got the spell book to go with it. Now, Equipment-wise, that's what we got. So it's really, I mean, we've got a little bit of card draw with the Otherworld Atlas and the Tower of Fortunes. Stop laughing. Tower of Fortunes is a card in this deck. You get the 8 mana. It's easy to cast. By the time you want to use it, you can. It's not like you're sandbagging instants or anything. At the end of your opponent's turn, you've got all this mana. On your end step, I draw 4. Man, I'm a Uno up in this thing. So, I like it. It's not the first choice for a lot of decks, but I think it is a good choice for this deck. Speaking of 8 mana, we got to have our repeatable removal. Here's another one I'm not quite sure why doesn't get more play. 8 to cast, 8 to use for 4 damage is kind of expensive. This is repeatable. Repeatable damage. This is a good card advantage. Now, if you have anything else to do with your mana, literally anything else, but this is a good mana dump. Here again and 4 damage kills a lot of generals. It does. It kills a lot of them. It kills a lot of key pieces. It kills, oh my gosh, a lot of stuff. Aladdin's Ring, pretty good. But 8 and 8, the more you use it, the better it gets. Let's put it that way. Of course, we have the Semblance Anvil because there's a good chance you're going to have some junk artifacts laying around in your hand when you cast it, and the ability for it to all cost 2 less. Now, if you can get an artifact creature, not because it matters in this deck, just because it's better form. Helm of Awakening, of course. Everything being cheaper is cool. We got our untapped boys here. They're really, really good. The Galvanic Key's got the built-in. The reason why it costs more than the Voltaic Key is because you can play it at, it's got flash. It's an artifact that has flash, essentially. But they're really good for all those big colossus that don't like to untap or whatever. Now, I'm trying out a Kaladesh card here. Trying out the Ore. Simply because of the card drawing. The land dropping is cool, don't get me wrong. But the card drawing, we ain't got a whole lot of card draw, so I figured I'd give the Ore a chance. It allows everybody to play an additional land, and then, of course, at the beginning of each player's upkeep, if you ain't got no cards, you get to draw 3. So, trying that out. Haven't actually played a game since I put the Ore in it. I'm not going to go through all these non-basic lands, but there are some that I do want to go through. If you're running all artifacts, you got to have the Urza lands. Somewhere along the way, I'm talking about the tower, the power plant, and the mine. Somewhere along the way, these got the name the Urzatron. Okay, whatever. Anyway, they're the Urza lands. They're very good. They're very played. If you don't believe me, just look at the prices on like the 8th, 9th edition foil ones, because those are the only existence of foil. They're nuts, especially for some common lands. But the Urza lands, the reason why they're so good for those that are just seeing them for the first time is they all tap for 1 colorless apiece. But if you have all 3 of them on the board, that taps for 2 colorless, that taps for 2 colorless, and the tower taps for 3 colorless. But you gotta have all 3 of them. Yeah, EDH is pretty slim, but you know what? All your other lands are just tapping for a colorless anyway, so you might as well do this with the hopes of living the dream and getting all of it, because 7 mana off 3 lands, I like it. It doesn't happen more than it happens, but it's still, when it happens, it's glorious. Removal. Repeatable removal. Again, Arena, don't recommend for most decks. But if you're locked out by a moat or something like that, you can start picking off their dudes, I've got a Blightsteel, and I'm going to send him into the arena with your Zur. You know, let's do this. Arena's pretty good. Oh, and I'm so excited for this. Cloud Post, people. Cloud Post. The more of us that play with this card, the better it gets. Cloud Post is, yes, okay. Cloud Post comes into play tapped. But it is a subtype of Locust, okay? It's a land Locust. And you tapped at a colorless mana for each Locust in play. This is so good. Years ago, there was a deck, people probably still, well, there was a deck called 8 Post. Then they printed more and more land copies, and Vesuva and Thespian Stage and all that. And now I think it's called 12 Post. When one land can tap to produce more than one mana, it's amazing. If you don't believe me, just look at cards like the Workshop or pick one. City Trader, pick one. There again, this is a common card. It's easy to find. You can probably find them in your bulk box at your local LGS. Your buddy's probably got these, you know, shimming up his table so it won't wobble, okay? They're not worth much. But the more of us that put them in decks, and this is a card that could go in just about any deck, the more people that play it, the better value it is. If you sit down at the table and you're the only one with Cloud Post, it's going to function just like any other waste. However, if all 5-6 people have a Cloud Post, man. But everybody gets that too, you know. The Glimmer Post, obviously, we've got, as I said, I'm not going over most of these. You know, sack an artifact to gain a life, to get an artifact back to bury ruin. Urza's Factory. This is funny. I love the flavor when they did this. Love it, love it, love it. It was from Time Spiral. 7 mana to make an assembly worker. We're tying in old card references here, because at the time they made this, this was another colorless land that went with the Urza lands. Remember, if you got all 3 of them, it tapped for 7 mana, and this one took 7 to use and made an assembly. Pretty neat, Wizards. Every now and then they get one right. Just kidding, a lot of the times. These guys are experts. They spend years on this. They spend their lives on this. They are so many years ahead of us. Morrow's a genius. All the rest of this is just what you would, Dread Statuary, Dude Lands. But that's what I got for Tribal Golems. I love me some Karn. He's everybody's favorite pacifist. He didn't stay pacifist, though. We'll get to that here again when we get to the Weatherlight Saga deck. Please let me know what you think. To be sure to subscribe, comment down below. And we will see y'all. I think it's Friday, so I think we're going to go shuffle up tonight and see if we can't give the Gobots a run. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching.